And we are live once again, PWP Nation, right here on youtube.com/PWP Nation. Guys, if you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, help us gain some momentum. We're already going against some big players in this space, not just the wrestling space, but overall, we're covering the gamut. We're talking about sports cards, we're talking about crypto, we're talking about investing, we're talking about entrepreneurship, making yourself into a better human being through basic human optimization tactics, which we'll be talking about with some of my friends and new friends, new people who I've never really spoken to face to face in person. And that's what we'll be doing here on this episode in just a few minutes. We will have entrepreneur, former pro wrestler, bodybuilding competition, I would say fitness model. She is absolutely a fitness model. We'll have Christina Friscia here with us in just a few minutes. And she'll talk to you a little bit about what she does to keep herself motivated, keep herself disciplined, keep herself razor sharp. Yeah, because that's really, at the end of the day, that's a big part of it. Keeping yourself sharp, keeping yourself aware of what's going on, of everything that's going on around you, talking things out, instead of just reacting emotionally. So, we're going to talk about some of that kind of stuff. Who knows what direction this interview is going to go? Who knows? So it's going to be a good one, going to be a fun one. And I'm ready to rock and roll. So I'm going to send her that link one more time and we'll get this thing going, brother. And what's up to my friends on TikTok? What's up, China? What's up, Chinese app? TikTok in the house, man. What is up? We're talking to TikTok. We're going to get Christina Friscia on the line in just a minute, brother. Just a couple minutes, yeah. We're counting it down. We're going to talk to... She's going into a fitness competition. Like, she is literally training to be in a fitness competition right now as I speak, In the meantime, let's do something that I'm normally used to doing here on this show. Let's look at the Bitcoin price. I haven't even looked today, and we're still looking strong at that $48,000 mark. Oh, yeah. You know what? You know what I love, though? You know what makes me feel good? Yeah, it's Cardano. It's that ADA token. Holy crap. Let me just tell you something, and this happens in investing, in life, in picking a career, in picking a path to move forward. This happens. You sometimes pick the wrong investment, and holy crap, did I get Cardano wrong. But there's a shining light here. I have about 50 Cardano that is now worth, I bought it like years ago, and it's just been sitting in a wallet, like a random wallet that I had sitting around on an exchange. And I have it. So I've got a few, I got a few. I don't have a lot, but I got some. I'm winning on that investment. But holy cow, $1.23. That's, or $1.22. It's changing in real time. That's gigantic. That is a huge number for Cardano, which was sitting around a penny not that long ago. Not that long ago, this coin, Cardano, was a penny, man. Look at this thing. Look at this, 4 cents. Maybe it wasn't a penny recently, but close enough, 3 cents. There you go, 10 cents. I thought that was a penny, but 10 cents. But yeah, look at this. And I was looking at Cardano years ago, so I'm going back years. This is all time, but I'm going back even further than this, I think. Or maybe it was around this time. And I remember riding it up to here and being like, oh man, this is sick. I can't believe Cardano's $1, what was it, 21? $1.21. Whoa, that's a big number, man. Now we're getting close. We're getting close to that point again. Yeah, brother. So I love the cryptocurrency game. Cryptocurrency is fun. And yeah. Pivot to Fightful.com. And no thanks, you are not getting any of my information, or I'm not allowing you to act as a fucking whatever on my whatever you guys do. But like, yeah, yo, we're looking at the wrestling business and we look at it differently now than we ever have, because we're at a time where there are no fans. And I hate this site because there are so many ads. I cannot stand it. So we're going to get off it. We're going to go back We're going to go back. Dude, Bobby Lashley, new WWE champion. That's huge heading into WrestleMania, everybody. I don't know if you realize how big that is. All right, she's going to be here in like 5 minutes. All right, she's going to be like 5 minutes or so. She got something going on at the house, at her home. She's mad cool, man. So we'll give her the time. We here at PWP Nation, I've taken a little bit of a different approach than you would normally see from a content creator. I absolutely despise editing video. I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I try to like it. I try to like it. I was just chatting with her real quick. She's gonna be here in a couple minutes. You know, uh, the cool thing about doing this and about like having a podcast and stuff is that I just have fun doing it, and I despise doing it anything but live. I hate editing to get like I could easily just record this interview with her, take our time. If we screw up, do it again, whatever. That's not how I roll. I hate doing that. Sometimes if I have to do it, I will. So yeah, she'll be here in a minute, and it'll be dope. It'll be fun. Believe that. She's cool, man. She's from the East Coast, Staten Island, I believe, somewhere in New York, and I know a lot of people out there in that area. So I'm excited. I'm hyped. I'm always hyped though. It's hard to bring me down a notch, man. When I get in this podcast mode, when I start doing some stuff that I like, when I start doing some stuff I enjoy doing TikTok, you know what I'm saying? What's up to Bill Boswell? What's up to Here for Fun? What is up to everybody in TikTok land? What is up, y'all? What is up, yo? Sound good. Yeah. Yeah, baby. We just take it easy here at PWP Nation. We don't put a lot of pressure on anyone. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, yeah. Christina Friscia will be with us in just a few minutes. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a laid back, chill interview. She's going to tell you some secrets, some real secrets from an actual, person who's done it. She's gotten into the wrestling business and she survived and got out. She's a fitness model. She's an inspiration. She's an entrepreneur. She's a saleswoman. She's a marketer. And I can't wait to have her on in just a few minutes. It's going to be a good one. I guarantee you it's going to be a fun one. Adjust this chair a little bit. Adjust up the chair. What's up, TikTok? What are y'all doing? What's TikTok doing today? YouTube, man. YouTube, someday, YouTube. Someday, YouTube. We're going to crack that goal. We're going to get there. It's only a matter of time. Yeah, it's only a matter of time before we crack it. Yeah. Man, I'll tell you what, the sports card industry is completely out of control. Like, it is absolutely bananas right now, and I'm excited to be involved and to actually be right about something for once. Like, I'm not going to say I was right. I've always had sports cards, but my idea was when I was a little kid, I was like, yeah, when I'm like in my 30s, I'll start, like selling these things and making money. And that's exactly what's happening right now. Was I right? Yeah, I guess when I was a kid, I was right. Probably should have held on to a few of them that I sold a few years ago. And the reason being is that I didn't know. Like when I started my eBay store, I was just like, all right, let's list everything. let's sell a bunch of stuff. Let's kind of like start building the store up, getting that positive feedback, getting into those search engines. But at the end of the day, I was selling sports cards that would probably sell for 10 times the amount now, especially Kobe Bryant's. Like I had this Kobe Bryant autograph card. It was numbered. I think it was out of 99. I'm pretty sure it was out of 99. It was like X, whatever the number was, out of 99. And I sold it for like, I don't know, 150, 200 bucks. And now that Kobe Bryant passed away, unfortunately, the value of that card has like exponentially gone up. I think by like 10x maybe. I think I probably could have been able to get $1,000 for it now. So like, yeah, man, just absolutely brutal with that. But you don't know. You can't predict that kind of stuff. It's like Bitcoin. Like I jumped into Bitcoin early, but I never thought it would ascend this quickly. I knew it would ascend. I knew we'd get to that $50,000 mark. Now we're going to get to the $100,000 mark at some point. We're going to get to the 250 mark at some point. I knew we'd get there. I just thought it would be in like 10 years. I'm going to be the first to admit I never thought that Bitcoin would ascend, would peak the way that it has over the past few months. I was thinking more like, 2030? Like 2030, but we couldn't have predicted the global sickness or like the global shift in wealth with China. China, I think, has made more billionaires than anyone in the world, right? More billionaires than anyone in the world, and have done it quite easily, if I'm not mistaken. Like, let me find this thing. They did it all throughout the global sickness. They used the global sickness. The food pyramid, man. Oh God, we're gonna actually take a look at that with Christina. I want to look at the food pyramid, but yeah, China has set a path to become the world leader. And in my spot, being a content creator, I'm on the Chinese app TikTok. I'm working full-time gig. Doing this on the side, selling stuff. It's good to be aware of what's going on out there financially. It's good to have a grasp of, at least a loose grasp of something to actually, I don't know, get knowledge from, to learn how to invest slowly and just make an exponential gain over time. Like they say, compound interest is like the eighth wonder of the world. Like compound interest is such a incredible, absolutely incredible thing. Michael Jordan cards are worth something now. Like you're right. Save every Michael Jordan card you got. You're 100% right. I actually got one for free recently. I got a couple of Michael Jordan cards free. And since they were free, I got rid of them, right? And they were like lower valued. One was all bent up to shit. I sold it and I still sold it all bent to shit for like $20. And then like the other ones were just doubles and stuff I already had. So it didn't really matter to me. But yeah, they're going to be worth even more. You're 100% right, Enrique. 100% right. Michael Jordan cards, no doubt about it. It's a no-brainer investment. Sports cards are absolutely risky, right? Because I'll be the first one to tell you, when I was a kid, I loved buying up Grant Hill and Jason Kidd cards. So can you say hi to my friend, Mike Oxlong? Yo, Mike Oxlong. Mike Oxlong, what's up, man? How you doing, bro? When I was a kid, I would go to these sports card shows, right? My mom would give me $20. We give like me and my friends $20 each. And yeah, dude, a Kobe Bryant rookie card from when I was 10, you can probably get definitely, dude. Definitely. If you want to sell that Kobe rookie, DM me. Talk to me about it, man, because I'm buying right now. I sold recently a Kobe Bryant rookie for a lot of money, and it was awesome. Amazing, because it was sitting in a box since 1996, just literally sitting in a box since 1996. And holy crap, like I can't believe the return on investment on that. But like I was saying, when I was a kid, my mom would give me $20, maybe $50 if I was lucky, to go to the card shop or go to the local baseball card show or whatever. And I would buy like Grant Hill and Jason Kidd and freaking, I don't know, who's another baseball player, Juan Gonzalez and Albert Bell and all these players that were like Raul Mondesi and Andrew Jones. And I was just dropping hundreds of dollars on these baseball players. And honestly, like that stuff isn't worth anything anymore. And I didn't know that in the 90s. I thought I'd have a gold mine on my hands at 35. But with some of the cards that I've had put away, I did have a gold mine and I still do. And that's a beautiful, absolutely beautiful thing. I love it, man. It's fun for me, dude. It's something that I grew up with and I understand. And that's an important part of learning and growing and doing things in your life that you feel you can leverage to turn into a success story. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Most of the time, what you would want to do is actually dig into something that you know how to do. So, like when I first started investing in the stock market, first time I ever invested in the stock market, what stock did I buy? I bought WWE stock. Why? Because I understood WWE. I got it. I understood the company, their business structure, and what they were trying to accomplish. And that's what I think the best idea is for investing, is to invest in what you understand. But without further ado, we're going to jump right into this. And I'm so happy to have Christina with me today. She is a fitness model. She is absolutely extraordinary. Christina,
Close up.
how are you?
Hello, everyone. What's going on? Trying to block this glare. Might as well just take them off. Whatever.
Yeah, you're all good. Yo, I just hyped you up big time before. Former professional wrestler, fitness model, entrepreneur. Yeah, I know you got a gig right now, marketer. But, first of all, before we get into anything, because I want to talk a little bit about your run training and becoming a professional wrestler, because this channel has been mostly based around
professional wrestler. I don't even know how to call it. Indie wrestler.
Okay. Well, were you ever paid to wrestle? Yeah. That means you're a professional wrestler.
That's true. Yeah, because I don't get paid to compete as an amateur. You're right.
Exactly. So professional wrestler, for sure. Like you can get paid one time and you're a pro, in my opinion. But anyway, like before we get into that, tell me a little bit about what you have going on now, because I know you're just maybe days away from competing. Is that correct?
I am. Yeah, I am. I think 11 days out from the NPC Baltimore Gladiator Championships. So I'm returning back to the NPC bikini stage after 5 years away. My last show was 2016. And, a lot has happened in the past 5 years, both as an athlete and as a person. So it was necessary time away, really, to gain the perspective I needed to be able to come back to the stage and have a better mindset about it, have more confidence, but also look a lot better. My physique back on the stage in 2016, it's like night and day compared to what I've been able to build just from the time away. And, at my highest weight, I was at 145. There was a lot of fluctuations and health issues. And like I said, I had to go through a lot of stuff the past 5 years, but it's an amazing feeling after, for a while, thinking I was never going to be able to model again. I was never going to be able to compete again. Those days were done. I was over, and being able to come back and just be so excited because I can do it all over again and I have a second chance to really do it this time. It's I'm thrilled. I'm so grateful.
Why was it over? Why are you saying that it was over at that point? If you want to jump into that a little bit.
Sure. So, in 2016, I was still self-coached. I never got a trainer. I never was on a bodybuilding team. A lot of people do that, but I just wanted to learn from myself before I bring on a coach and put all my trust in someone else to do it. I wanted to learn the process myself. So after 2016, I was very miseducated and doing a lot of stupid manipulative things with my body just to get on stage. And because of that, and being a female, I wound up dealing with very severe hormone issues because I was so low body fat. I was eating zero carbohydrates. I just fucked my body up. Really? Can I curse?
Absolutely. 100%. Yes.
So I just fucked my body up and I just knew something was wrong. And I took a step back from the stage because I was if I'm not going to be competitive, if I'm going to bust my ass in preps and be subjected to tilapia and asparagus for 3 meals a day and like hate my life and have to do an hour of cardio twice a day just to not even get lean enough. Like, what am I doing? Something's wrong. Like, something's not working here. Your body like will give you signs. It will give you so many signs, but we don't want to listen to it. We want to keep pushing. And like, you know, that's what makes you a badass, to keep going even when everything's telling you not to. But like, no, that's what makes you an idiot, because I wound up putting myself in that situation. I wanted to keep going and keep pushing. And then my body just shut down, and it did the exact opposite. Like, as much as I was dieting, it was gaining, and I was just in a really bad place metabolically. And then 2 years after that, you know, like, not to get like too girly, but like I lost my period for an entire year when I was competing. And any girl who competes, when that happens, some people will say it's normal, but it's anything but normal. It's normal for a competitor because, yes, you're losing so much body fat, but it's not normal for a woman to lose her cycle. It's what makes your female parts work, you know, like that's it's the backbone of being a woman. You need that as your monthly thing, you know, like it regulates your brain. It does so much. And that wasn't happening. And so, you know, 2 years after I stopped competing, I go to the doctor with like horrible, horrible stomach pains. Like something was wrong. And my doctor for years before that would just disregard me and say, you probably just have a low pain tolerance. Like you'll be fine. Get over it. Next month, let me know if it's still there. And it never went away. So finally, like I just deal with it for months. I finally go back to the doctor, and by the grace of God, my old doctor was no longer with the practice, and they gave me a new doctor who happens to be a female. Mind you, my doctor prior was a male, and it's nothing against male doctors, but when you're in a female industry, like, you know, female health, I want a female to take me seriously, you know?
Absolutely. Yeah.
So immediately she took my words, my pain, my symptoms seriously, and I wound up going in for surgery. I got a stage 4 endometriosis diagnosis. I've been dealing with that for 2 years. And that was when I really thought it was done for me, because the scars in my stomach at that point were like 2-inch wide, gaping 4-inch holes in my stomach. And my mom, even, because my mom's very proud of me, like she used to model when she was younger. So like, you know, she kind of lives a little vicariously through me now. And she was always like, you're never going to model again. You're like, oh my God. And then she would also be like, you know, I think you'll be okay. I think like it'll be all right. And like, so I was just like mentally grieving like the goals and the dreams that I was never going to be able to achieve. And that's when I kind of just like settled to like be in marketing and do the business thing. And like, you know, maybe I can make it in that and like see what happens, you know, like I'm not going to quit life, you know, like it's just something else I got to deal with now. So I don't know, like basically the past 2 years since I got the diagnosis in the summer of 2019 have been like both amazing and like negative. Like, I don't know, it's hard to say. It's been like a balancing act, because like, yes, this is like an awful disease to have to deal with every day, and there's no cure, and like I'm on medicine and I'll have it for the rest of my life. It doesn't go away. Like, it's just something like females can get a full hysterectomy, get completely wiped out, and still have endometriosis. It is what it is. So I'll deal with this forever. And there are times when, you know, I have pains and the stuff that comes with it, and during prep that's definitely not fun. But it's also like, you know, like I probably won't be able to have kids naturally, which I'm okay with, because I didn't even know if I ever wanted kids at all, you know, like, so when the doctors told me like, this is your situation, whatever, like I'm not in a relationship, I don't have a man who's like waiting to have a kid with me and a family, like, so it's not like I have that time bomb, you know, like waiting to go off. So since the doctors kind of told me this is my situation, I saw that as I could compete again and really take this seriously, and like not have that like worry kind of trickling in the back of my head. Like, am I getting too old for this? Should it be time for me to like take a back seat and like settle down and do that? You know, like, because like, I just feel like everything happens for a reason. So like I went through that whole struggle, and now I have a story about it, and I have like experience through this whole journey I've been on. So now I have groups of women who message me saying they're in a similar situation. Like, watching you get back to health is so motivating and so inspiring, because like I feel like you, like sometimes the stuff you say I resonate with so much, because I'm sitting here feeling bad about myself. I used to live such a fit lifestyle, and now I can't even like do a 20-pound squat, and I feel like I'm never going to get back there. And I'm just like, yo, it took me almost a year to get back in the gym after my surgery. Like, even though my doctor cleared me much sooner than that, I just didn't feel ready. Like, listen to your body. If something feels wrong, it is. Like, so I waited till I was ready, and now I'm like, I had the easiest prep I think I have ever possibly been able to have, because my body was in a great spot to diet again, and I had built muscle through those years being away from the stage, and it just kind of like all fell into place. So now I'm hoping to get that pro card this year, man.
Hell yeah,
That's
that's
the
awesome. That's a
goal.
great story. I actually started to get a little bit of chills when you told me that women are coming to you and telling you that you're inspiring them. And that's a big part of like why I wanted to talk to you, because I think I first laid eyes on you, and I hate to say it that way, but at a wrestling event in 2013, I was covering, as just an independent wrestling journalist, Pro Wrestling Syndicate. And I'm pretty sure you were either walking wrestlers out to the ring, or maybe you were competing.
I was
But
ring girl back then.
there you go. Okay, so you're a ring girl. Okay, but
Ring girl
I
at
do
large.
know. I do know that you were training to be a professional wrestler. And I just want to share this moment with you right here that I found on your Instagram, and you can
Yeah, that was
follow Christina.
upstate. Where was that? That was upstate somewhere. I forget what town that was in, but yeah, I was with Pinky Sanchez at that show. We were doing a little gimmick together for a bit, so we would travel around, and I was the Sherry of the group. Like, I was here to fuck everyone's day up and like call it a
Love
day
it.
and go home.
Tell me about that experience, because you just mentioned some of the struggles you've gone through recently and getting back to competing amateur, but you're going to be a pro in no time for sure. 100% it's going to happen for you. So, but you did train to become a professional wrestler as well. And I'm sure you can lace up the boots and get in there and start hitting the ropes whenever you want. So tell me a little bit about that process and how that mindset is something that you also used in, competing, becoming a fitness model.
Well, it's funny because I actually, when I was very young, I did martial arts. I did Kempo karate as a child. So I actually like technically should have my black belt in Kempo karate. So I've always been like a bit of a fighter, and I was a really, really great grappler, and like that just came super naturally to me. So like, I would watch wrestling when I was like a young kid, but then the years passed, and then, it kind of faded away a bit. And then like randomly, like me and a couple of my friends kind of got back into watching it a bit. It was around 2012, 2013, and like we're watching like, I don't know, SummerSlam or WrestleMania or something one day. And like, I really liked April, like what was her name in real on
AJ
wrestling?
Lee.
AJ Lee, yes. So I really liked her gimmick. I thought she was like cute, and like, but there were really no girls at that point. Like the Bellas, like I think maybe just came back at that point. Like there was really no like girls wrestling. They weren't taking it seriously. It was before like the women's revolution bullshit or whatever. So like and they were still kind of playing off like the hot girl thing. Like that's not really so much of a thing anymore. But like back then, a little bit in wrestling, like they were still going for that a bit, and like I remember just sitting there watching it with my friends, and they were kind of just like knowing my background, knowing my mouth and my attitude and like just who I am. They're like, I could totally see you wrestling. Like, you're hotter than all these girls. Why don't you try? Like, why don't you do it? And I thought about it for a bit, and like I looked up some like wrestling schools, and I like mulled over it for like a couple weeks, and then I finally just like picked PWS because they had the better website out of the independent wrestling training schools like in the New Jersey, New York area. So I was like, maybe they're the most like legit at this point, because I also knew that like independent wrestling doesn't have the best rap, like it's kind of a bit like gritty and
Sleazy.
cheap and sleazy, and like
Yeah.
I like if I wanted to do it, it's because I wanted to be a part of WWE. It's not because I had like a dying love for wrestling. Like I wanted to be a performer, I wanted to be a video game character, I wanted to be on people's walls on a poster, like very narcissistic goals of mine, but it is what it was. It's what I wanted to do. So like I wound up just going into PWS training school. I was in like Metuchen, like some sportsplex place. And I just like walked in, the guys were all training, and I probably looked like, what the fuck is this girl doing here in the middle of this sportsplex? I probably had like a leather bomber on and leather boots, and like probably dolled up, just knowing me, like to show up to this thing, like you better look good and show them who you are. So like, I'm sure I walked in, and I remember like the guys like turning around, like, she with you? Who's she? And I just kind of sat there in the background and like watched for a little bit. And then like, I don't even remember who came up to me, but one of the guys came up to me, and they were just like, are you interested in wrestling and this and that? And like one thing led to another. And yeah, I started training there at PWS, and I wasn't even working out at the gym at that point. Like, it was a very, sorry if you hear my dogs in the background, they're gonna bark. I'm sure.
I have two little ones myself. They're probably
like the second they hear the wind blow, they're gonna bark. They're annoying. But shut up.
What kind of dogs do you have?
So I have the Chihuahua who's barking right now, and I have a Pekingese who's about a year old. I have an older Pekingese, but he's like deaf. He doesn't even know what's going on anymore. So 3 little monsters. But like, so yeah, I didn't even go to the gym when I decided to start training. I smoked weed and like ate shitty food every day. Like I was just naturally like skinny, you know, like, so I gotta like get him to shut up. This is annoying.
No,
so yeah, give me 1 second.
It's all good. Take your time. Take your time. I love it. I love doing it live. It's the only way I do it is live, Christina. Like I
know I've never done it live. I asked him if we're gonna just like start right away. He's like, yeah, that's how I do it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And I think I hate editing video. I just can't stand it. It's so monotonous
I do too. That's why I make Instagram stories and not Instagram posts, because I just want to do it and be done. Like, bingo. So yeah, so I didn't even go to the gym. Hold on.
Nah, no problem.
Before I decided to start wrestling. So like I'm going to maybe call some people out during this interview just from talking about PWS, but I mean it with love. So like I would have to, you run the ropes. That's part of training. You run the ropes for 5 minutes or 3 minutes, and you do 100 squats and whatever the hell air squats, whatever you got to do. And like, I was super out of shape. Like, I will admit that I was incredibly out of shape, but they were also kind of a dick to me. So like,
Did you start on that day? That first day you showed up? Were they like get in there?
Next training after that. I don't think I like started that day. I think that was kind of just like, is this for me? Let's see. And then, if you're interested, come tomorrow. We're training. Be ready. So like, I probably started like the next available day. But like after a couple weeks of that, like I was just busting my ass and I was hurting. But something that also really like affected me in the beginning was like getting out of the mindset of like, this is not a real fight and you're not really trying to hurt these people and you don't really want to choke them out. And like, I didn't know how to like sell. I didn't know how to like react and do the whole act thing. I was just in there to destroy people. Like, and there would be times during training where they'd have to be like, yo, what are you doing? Stop. And like yell at me and be like, chill. Like, you're too tight. You're too whatever. Like whatever the fuck word they used. And like, that was something that took a lot of learning. Like even till the end of it, hold on. I want to call. It wasn't something that I was able to like kind of reel in, I had to reteach myself how to do these moves in the nice way and like really be soft and easy. And like, I dated a wrestler during that time. So that did give me a little bit more training and a little bit more practice, but that was inevitably the end of my connection with PWS. So it was bittersweet, but, I mean, if it weren't for PWS, I wouldn't have been able to probably even wind up competing, because the reason why I was talking about the gym is like when I started wrestling, I was in zero shape. So I needed a goal to get my ass in the gym every day. And that goal wound up being competing, because it was giving me the ability to still get up on stage. Because, when I was training at PWS, I wasn't wrestling. There was no shows for me. There was nothing available in terms of work. And I still like had that desire to like put myself out there and like be seen by people and like do something more. And like, I just felt like I was like sitting in the back seat watching all my friends get signed. All my friends are traveling. All my friends are doing this. Like people telling me, you're next. Don't worry. You're next. You're on the list. You're coming up. And like nothing fucking happening. So it's like disheartening. So you want to put something like, at least I knew if I put myself into the fitness industry, like I'd get back what I put in, because it's not like necessarily political like it is in wrestling. Like, so I was able to earn whatever I deserved. And that's through the past few years, like really being able to see, like, I didn't deserve to win 5 years ago. Like I won 1 out of 4 shows and I got 6th at 2 and 7th at 1, like, so I wasn't ready. And like, I can objectively look back at that physique and say, yeah, I wasn't ready. Like granted, the bikini division back then was much softer and less muscular. Throughout the years. It's progressed, but it's hit its peak. So now like, I know what they're looking for in the division and I can fine tune my physique to look like that. Whereas 2015, 2016, I was an idiot and I had no idea what I was doing. I just like thought I was good enough to be on a bikini stage because I've modeled in the past. I could fucking do this, you know, and like it's bodybuilding. It truly is like a full-time job. You have to dedicate yourself to the gym and to eating as much as you do to everything else in your life. Like it's just part of the cycle now, but I love it.
100%. Yeah, definitely. Like bodybuilding's, they say like it's done in the kitchen. Like I used to be a bodybuilder in my mid 20s. I got
Yeah.
up to about, I got up to about 230 pounds. Right now I'm
Oh,
about
wow.
175. Yeah, I got up to about
How tall are
230.
you?
I'm 5'11".
Wow, that's pretty big.
I got pretty big. Yeah, I got pretty big, but it was like introduction to, again, some different supplements, I'll say, some like eating just nonstop, like putting a lot of pressure on my body because that was my goal, to blow up. You know, I grew up idolizing Hulk Hogan, Ultimate Warrior, The Rock, Triple H, all these massive dudes. And I was like, look, if they can do it, I can do it. Especially when you see a guy like Eddie Guerrero in wrestling start getting big and jacked like that. You're like, okay, I got a shot then. So I got disciplined. I made the gym my life and hit my goals. But at a certain point, you start getting hurt. You start messing up your system a little bit, like you started to mention, but in the guy way. Won't go too deep into that. Maybe another time we will. And it was affecting me. So I decided, my doctor eventually was like, yo, dude, time to lose some weight for your long-term health. And that became more my goal. I started boxing, kind of pivoted. And you pivoted from pro wrestling to that dream, to fitness modeling, to that dream. Tell me a little bit about the discipline and the work ethic that it took from the pro wrestling business, from doing that, because that is no cakewalk. I've done 2 sessions of training pro wrestling, and both times I was dead afterwards. I was hurting, I was bleeding, I was bruised. It sucked, and it was in a backyard.
I was hungry,
Yeah,
and it was in the backyard. I was dirty.
Yeah, yep, dirty as well. Glass, it was a mess. But tell me a little bit about that work ethic and discipline that you brought from wrestling into fitness modeling.
I mean, I would say that like I had in wrestling, I really like, and I feel like there's gonna be like some people who know me from wrestling who I trained with who are gonna be like, yeah, right. She was like never doing anything in training or whatever. But it's like because I didn't like being around you. Like I didn't want to be around the people there. They were toxic and they were like bad people, like overall. And like it's hard to like have like determination and drive when you don't like you're not comfortable in your environment, you know, like that reflects your work ethic. You don't want to like fucking give it your all because you're not getting anything back from it. And you know, like so I feel like that's what I want to say. Like I had that drive ever since I was a kid. I've always been like I'm a Capricorn, you know, like I don't know if anyone gives a fuck about astrology, but like we're determined fucking people. Like I have been like that since day one. I've been a straight A student my entire life. I had full scholarships to college. Like I had a full ride. I've known what I've wanted. I've always had a very like entrepreneurial and business mindset. And like I've done the little steps that I had to take to try and get myself to the next level, always like advancing. But in the pro wrestling industry, like I said, it's political and it's like you're limited. I was limited. Not most people should not be, but I was limited on the shows I could do based on where I was training. And it was just like a vicious, toxic circle, like I keep saying. So I had to basically move that drive and like work ethic over to something that I knew I was going to be able to get the rewards from. And like in 2015, the first 2 shows I did, I gave it my absolute all. Like I was the girl bringing my protein pancakes in my bag to the bar to hang out with my friends with my gallon of water because I wasn't drinking that night. You know, like I was obsessive. I was meticulous. I wanted to take my body to a level that I could never take it. Also because I had a shit ton of people who I wanted to prove wrong along the way. A boyfriend, wrestler who I was with, who literally said to my face, I don't think you'll be able to do it. And then at the end saying, I didn't ever think you were going to be able to do this show. I didn't ever think you were going to go through with it. And like just little digs like that, like along the way that, you know, I put up a pretty strong front, but there's only so much you should have to take until eventually you can be like, fuck you all. Like, I'm going to prove you wrong. Like, it's cool to be like, yeah, it doesn't bother me, but I think it's even cooler to tell everyone to go fuck themselves eventually, you know,
me too. I'm with you on that.
I am sensitive. Like I look like hard and maybe like people are intimidated. They don't want to come up and talk to me. But like once you get to know me, like I'm a very fun, like lighthearted person. I mean well for everyone. I want everyone to win, you know, but like not everyone feels that way. And like something I had to experience and actually bringing it back to wrestling is something that I learned back then was like everyone wants to see you do well, but never better than they are. Like everyone coming up in wrestling, oh man, you're gonna go be an extra at WWE. That's awesome. That's so cool, dude. Good luck. Oh, bro, you're going to ROH today? That's amazing. That's awesome. Good luck. But then the second you wind up going somewhere where they never been before, all of a sudden they got something to say about what you're doing. And like, you're not deserving of it. And you haven't paid your dues and you're not humble enough. Like those are the favorite lines that I've heard in the wrestling industry is like, she hasn't paid her dues. She doesn't have enough experience and she's not humble enough. Like I've literally been at wrestling shows where I've had like a steel chair smashed into the back of my chair just for fun, just for shits and giggles to see how I react. And then when I bug out, it's because I'm not humble enough. Am I fucked up or are they? Like, so how much do I got to sit here and deal with when I'm trying to I just want to wrestle. I just want to fucking be on a show and work. But I got to go through this fuckery in the meantime just to prove that I've paid my dues. That's paying your dues. Like, letting someone treat you like shit? No, that's not how these guys we idolize and look up to came up in the industry. That's not the bullshit that they had to go through. And I know that the girls in the fucking industry who are signed did not have to go through that stuff. Most of them have come up in a normal way. They fucking worked their way up. They didn't have to like do this with that one and suck up to that one and whatever the hell else is involved. Like, no, but sometimes people see someone, easy target, let's fuck with her. And I happen to be that easy target for these guys at PWS, you know, like, so.
Woo! Okay, so you warned me that bomb might be dropping tonight, and I was trying to steer you away from that, but you went there. So if you want to elaborate on that, you know, you can continue. There's so much I'm sure we can go into about that entire process, training in the wrestling business. So I've been around the business, not as in depth and close as you have, but I've been around it since probably 2009-ish. I've been backstage at Ring of Honor events. I've seen some craziness, chaos stuff go down back over there and whatnot. And I've also spent time at PWS. Like I was in the dressing room a couple times. I used to walk around with a microphone, just sticking in people's faces. Like I used to love Dave Destruction. Like, I don't know if he's a guy you have heat with, but I used to like that guy. I used to stick the microphone in his face. He always said something funny. Or like John Silver.
We're cool now, me and Dave. In the beginning, I had beef with him, but
yeah. So like John Silver too. Like I stuck the mic in his face once, and it was funny, you know. So it was a good time, a good experience for me. But I mean, when I was talking about work ethic and drive, I know it's a tough business, and that may have made you more determined. Yeah. Even more focused and more disciplined. So if you want, you could elaborate a little more on that time in PWS, but if you want to go into a little bit about that discipline and mindset that it takes. I don't want to
give them the friggin' airtime. Honestly, they're not even a company anymore. I don't think so.
Right. No, they're not. They're now, they're Wrestle Pro, and they're run by Kevin Matthews, I think. And I think they do shows like out in Alaska. They don't even really do anything locally anymore, I don't think. But I'm pretty sure that's where they're
anyone's doing anything locally anymore, technically, right?
Not right now. No, of course, during the China sickness, the fruit fly just hit me right in the face. Where'd that thing come from? It's embarrassing. All right. Anyway, mindset. Okay. Let's talk about mindset and discipline, because obviously we've been talking the past couple of days, and I checked out your photos and I looked at your stories, and you are on pace to crush it in your fitness competition. So how far out are you? And dive in a little bit to that mindset and preparation that it really takes to get to your point where you're at right now.
So I am, I think, like I said, 11 days out. Yeah, today's the 2nd. So the show is Saturday, the 13th. So pretty much my mindset going into this show was like, I knew all along, like I had a goal, and that was getting my pro card. So for those who don't understand the bodybuilding industry, there's the NPC, which is the National Physique Committee. And then there's the IFBB, which is the International Federation of Bodybuilding. So basically the NPC is your amateur level, which is where I'm at now. And then your IFBB is the pro level. So I want to get my IFBB pro card. But in order to get there, I have to compete at a regional level local show or 2, or however many it's going to take for me to get nationally qualified. Now, this year with COVID, they made national qualifications top 5 in your class, which should be pretty easy to get, but you would be surprised. It really depends on who shows up. There's no surefire way of knowing you're going to win or get nationally qualified at any show. You really don't. It's a very subjective sport. So I just have to look as good as I humanly can possibly look that day and hope for the best, you know? So I get nationally qualified, and then you're able to compete at the national level shows. And at the national level shows, depending on the show, that's where you're able to get your IFBB Pro card. Some shows, it's like top 4 in the overall. So meaning like in the bikini, it's by height, it's not by weight. So I'd be competing against girls like around 5'5" to 5'6". The first place winner of that goes against all the other first place winners, and the top 4 get their pro card. Whereas some other shows, you just have to get top 2 in your regular height class and you get a pro card. So it really depends on the show because they're all different rules, all different promoters. It really just depends on the show. So my goal right now, I mean, like I said, I have long-term goal to get that pro card, my short-term goal to get nationally qualified. I realistically want to get as much stage time as I can this year before I get in front of national judges because I've never done a national show before. So I want to compete on the 13th. And then I really, really want to try to compete in when is it? Where is it? It's in Florida, in Orlando, the first week of April. I'm not 100% sure if I'm even time-wise going to be able to do that, if it's going to be smart to do a show 3 weeks after my other show, or if I should just get nationally qualified at the first and wait till May for nationals. Like, I really don't know. So I'm trying to figure out where I place. Cause like I said, like I may not get nationally qualified at this first show. If some freak shit happens and I don't place top 5, then I have to do another show and wait to get qualified and see what happens. So like, there's no way to really build a plan. So your mindset just has to be like, bring in your best, like whatever it's going to take, help within health and smart ways of doing it. Don't make the same mistakes I did, but whatever it's going to take to get your body to look as good as it can that day. Don't look at Instagram. Don't look at who else is going to the show and compare what your glutes and shoulders look like versus this girl's glutes and shoulders, because you're never going to look like her and she's never going to look like you. And realistically, Instagram is not the full story and what people look like on show day. You know, Instagram is the highlight reel for all of us. We show our best lighted, best angles, prettiest photos. But on show day, sometimes the girls you see on Instagram who you're like, oh my God, I don't stand a chance. She has zero personality and zero stage presence and doesn't know how to move naturally and, you know, like smile and shake her body how she has to. And like, that's the whole part of the presentation. Like you're on a stage. They're not judging your Instagram photo still. They're judging your movement, your whole package, your grace, your smile, your sass, your everything. So you got to show up to that stage. And when you're standing on the side, when the other girl's on stage, the judges should be like, who the fuck is that? We want to watch her, you know, like make sure that their eyes are on you the whole time. So I'm just friggin' hoping that their eyes are on me the whole time. I'm really like going about this prep because after my like run the first time around and I won that first place show, I think I got cocky because I was like, I'm self-coached. I trained myself. I got myself here, you know, and like, I didn't go into nationals right away. I was like, I'm going to take some time, build a little, and then go into a national show so I can be competitive and I can really go in there and win. And by getting cocky, that was a time when I started to fuck up my metabolism. I started to gain weight. My body wasn't responding anymore. And I was never able to get as tight and look as good as I did the first show. And that was a tough pill to swallow because I was still not like, I had a lot of ego and I didn't have the mindset today of being, you know, take a step back and be able to look at yourself how a coach would look at you and tell you, you got to do this, you got to move this. I was in denial. Like I didn't want to admit to myself. I wanted to think that bodybuilding was political too, because I had such a shitty like run with everything else that I just wanted to point the finger at everything around me except to say, no, like you're just not good enough yet.
That's part of the learning. That's part of the learning
part of the process. And it sucks, man. Like who wants to say like I lost and I deserve to lose? Like, and you know, even so, like I jumped into it after the first place show in the beginning of the year. In November of that same year, 2015, I decided to jump into another show like 6 weeks before the show. A normal prep for a bodybuilding show is around 16 weeks realistically. So to do a show like 6 weeks prior when I'm already probably 20 pounds over my stage weight and think that I'm going to be able to bring myself in better than who the fuck was I kidding? You know, like what did I think I was doing? And then I want to get all fussy because I'm not placing where I think I should. Like, you know, like I am the one to blame. And like, I'm okay saying that today because like now I'm okay to go into the show and like find like almost grace in the whole fact that what is meant to be will be, and it's okay, and it was already determined before I showed up that day, you know, like it's what was meant to always happen, and I just am here for the ride and enjoying these experiences. And like I said, getting the stage time is one of the best things you could do, because even if you don't win, you get that feedback from the judges, so you come better and better, and they're able to see, oh, that girl, yeah, she was at the show in Baltimore, we told her this, we told her that, look at, she brought it in, she brought it tighter, she did this, or whatever they tell you to do, you know, like, or if they say you're right on point, don't change a thing, we'll see you at nationals, that's fucking goals, you know, like you obviously want to hear that, but you got to just like, you got to not take it to heart. They don't care about you personally, you know, like they're not out to hurt your feelings, they're not out to get you. They have an ideal that they're looking for in each division, whether it's bikini or bodybuilding, you know, and like
Sure.
either you're fitting into it now or you're growing into it. So like don't be discouraged, because like either you have room to grow, which is fun, you don't have to like taper back your training or anything, or you're right where you need to be, in which point you're good, you know.
Yeah.
So like something that I do want to say, because I don't know if there's any competitors who are listening, but like there's something that I did learn from being away from the stage that I didn't realize the first time around, that I wish I would have known the first time around. And this is, so they call it prejudging. It's in the morning, but it's realistically when you're actually judged is at prejudging. And a lot of the time, so basically what happens is you go out in a line, and it's just like whoever you're in line with, your regular comparisons. Then they're going to take you out to the side. Each person comes out individually, does their individual routine. We all line up, and then they pick their top 6 girls or 5 girls or whatever they want to do. So, and I would get really like discouraged and really like disheartened if like I was going out for my individual routine and I saw that the judges weren't looking up at me, like they would be looking down, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I prepped for 12 weeks. They can't even give me my 15 seconds on stage and look at me and blah, blah, blah. And like, that's actually not what's going on. So the individual routine part of the show, when you have that 20 seconds, 15 seconds to hit all your poses, that's for your friends and your family and the photographers. That is not necessarily where you're getting judged, because the judges can't compare you against yourself. You're getting judged when you're in those comparison rounds and when you're in those call outs. So when you first come to the stage, if they wind up lining you all up and then they do a comparison right then and there before they do the call outs, they're picking their people for their call outs because they're comparing you. They can't know what's standing on stage one girl at a time. So that's something that it was like, whoa, really? Like once I heard that from a judge, I just want to share that, because like there have been like probably 2 or 3 shows where I left there feeling like total shit, because I was like, and I'm about to cry thinking about it, because I was like, what the fuck? Like I bust my ass for hours on cardio. Like I'm eating goddamn nothing. And like, you can't even look at me. Like I wasn't even good enough to look at, and it sucks, you know, like, yeah. So I don't want anyone to ever like feel like that going into a show. Like that should be the happiest day, regardless of how you place, because like you got there. Most people will never get on a bodybuilding stage in their entire life. So like, even if you don't look the best that you can, you still got where most people will never attempt to go. You got on stage in a Speedo or a fucking thong, and you showed people your ass and your whole body to be judged, not just to be looked at, but to be judged against other people. So that alone should be like a win for you. And like, just if you love it, like I love bodybuilding, like some people loved wrestling. I didn't love wrestling like some other people did, so I didn't want to stick with it. But I love fitness and I love bodybuilding. Like I should have loved wrestling. And that it's like, it's not work for me. It's not like, it's fun for me. I enjoy every meal I make. Like I love doing cardio. I enjoy like posing. I could stare at myself in the mirror for hours and tweak my posing. Like it's a selfish sport, self-admittedly, you know, it's not for everyone and it's not meant to be for everyone, you know? So if you find something that you love and it happens to work with what you do and your lifestyle, then try it out, man. You never know. Like I say, some people may be amazing guitar players, but they'll never know unless they pick up a guitar, you know? You may have an awesome rockin' physique, but you'll never know unless you pick up a weight and start training. So like, yeah, you're holding yourself back. You just have to be in a mindset of like knowing what you want out of life and like envisioning really, like when I'm on that cardio, when I'm on a Stairmaster or like a treadmill, like I close my eyes and I see myself on stage. Like I'll visualize myself hitting my poses, or I'll watch other girls in their posing routines and I'll visualize myself in their place, or like I'll listen to like a comparison round at a show and like move when they say you move here, you move, and like pretend I'm doing it, because like I truly believe like in like visualization and like seeing, and then it happens. And because it's happened so many times in my life that like it's just undeniable for me at this point. And like it's fun. It's more fun to like sit around and like just think about yourself center stage, like, and just like let those awesome feelings well up in your body, because that's how it's going to happen. It's not from sitting around feeling bad about yourself all day. I'm not going to win a show by sitting around thinking I'm going to lose. You win a show by going in there with the confidence that you're going to win, and like that's undeniable. Like when I get on that stage, that's the word I want them to say, that undeniably the winner, like she is the girl. That's who we're looking for, you know, like
Hell yeah.
close the book.
Will you come back on? Will you come back on the show after your competition and talk about it?
Hell yeah! Hell
Awesome.
yeah!
I love that. So this final question for you tonight, and I really appreciate your time. And this is absolutely awesome.
Yeah,
so
this is fun.
thank you so much.
This.
My final question kind of like is a branch off of some of the things you were just saying. And I was actually getting a little bit emotional myself when you started to get emotional, because you could hear the passion that you have for what you do. And, you know, what I built this podcast and this project around, so to speak, is trying to help people, not only in the wrestling community, but any community out there, anybody who wants to listen to what people have to say. Everybody has different stories and we all have different backgrounds. And I believe the only way to get past our differences is through respectful, civil discourse. Even if you can't agree on most things, you can still come to some kind of agreement just by talking to your fellow human and talking things out. So give me some real life practical advice that anyone can use, any gender, any color, doesn't matter, any size. I mean, you know, people's bodies, and that's a huge deal right now. We're going through the real epidemic, in my opinion, is the fact that we're the most obese country in the world. So whatever your interpretation is of that real life practical advice, drop it right now while we close out this episode.
Well, I mean, what I would say the biggest thing is like, we're all adults and we all know right from wrong. Like that is something that I believe is inevitably ingrained in most non-sociopathic functioning humans. There are exceptions to that rule. People with personality disorders may not relate to what I'm saying, but that's why it applies to you that much more. We all know right from wrong. We all know when we look in that mirror what that makes us feel like. Right now, I look in that mirror and I'm fucking psyched. If you look in your mirror and you're not fucking psyched and jazzed with what you see every day, I think it's time to really take a step back and realize what you're doing to yourself, because you look like how you look by what you're putting in your body and what you're not doing. And it's hard to admit to yourself sometimes that, yeah, I could probably do a little more. I could probably shuffle some things around in my schedule and maybe not sit on my phone scrolling for 30 minutes and go for a walk around my block. Like, I'm not saying you need to jump into doing a bodybuilding prep, but you can definitely do just one thing more every day that starts you up and sets you on a new routine and sets you a little bit closer to where you see yourself being, because we all have like that ideal, optimal version of us one day, like that person we envision when we think about who we want to be. And that's okay. You are free to be whoever you want to be. But are you taking the actionable steps that are going to take you there? Or is it just a dream? Because we don't get to come back to try this life again. We only have this round to go. And unless you're killing it this lifetime, you're going to be on your deathbed with a life full of regrets and a life full of what ifs and I wishes. You know, like, so I'll be damned if I don't live every life to its fullest. Like, I actually, this past fall, I had an ex-boyfriend who passed away. And like, just hearing that, like, kicked my ass into such gear that I have never felt before. And that really was like the main push to do this prep, because I want to do it because he can't anymore. He can't train anymore. I can't see him at the gym anymore. I can't think about him and fuck around with him and send him memes anymore. Like, when things happen in your life, like a loss or something like dramatic that changes how you like see the world, use that energy in a positive way. Don't use it to bring those around you down. Misery loves company, but it takes you to really like step out of your comfort zone and like step out of your grief, step out of whatever you're in and just take that first step. Like, you There's nothing else to it. You just have to fucking do it for a rhymer, you know, like you really, because people don't want to just take the first step. They want to sit around, they want to point fingers and blame and say, it's not my fault. I don't have the time. I work. We all fucking work. I make the time. I don't have the time. I make the time.
Hell yeah. I love that. And you actually posted that
I
on your
posted that
social media.
before.
I absolutely love that. I saw that. That's something that we should
Right.
all live. Yeah, it's something we should all live by. We're all up to stuff. We all have our own stories, and I absolutely love the way you close that out. So, Christina, thank you so much for doing this episode with me. I believe this provided a lot of value, and it will rest on this channel as a time capsule into your life. And I can't wait to talk to you after your competition. I'm going to be following the story. So before we get out of here, anything you want to plug, anything you want to say, any messages you want to get out there before we shut this stream down?
Yes, actually, I am putting up a website. It's in the process. You can still find a link on my Instagram, ChristinaFriscia.com. I created a calorie calculator. If you don't know how much food you should be eating every day, head to my calorie calculator. It's totally free and find out your numbers and thank me later.
Check that, guys. If you don't go to her Instagram right now, you're missing out. Trust me. I did a deep dive. So absolutely. Christina, thank you so much. I'll talk to you later. All right.
Yeah, later.
Bye.